So the disclaimer of the morning is that a couple of my slides have what would be called strong language. So if you are easily offended, cover your eyes. So we sing these words together every time we gather. I'm always so grateful. I have no complaints whatsoever. And I'm not sure how many of you notice how often I'm smiling when I sing those lines. Especially, I have no complaints whatsoever. And it's usually a combination of laughing at myself and reminding myself that as of the moment I am singing those words, I have the opportunity to make them true again. So for the sake of our work here today, I want to clarify something. The difference between complaining and stating facts. It's a justification. I know that. You know that. Now we can move on. Okay. So for me, there's a difference between waking up with a headache and stating, wow, I woke up with a headache, versus I have a headache. So the first difference is a semantic one. Waking up with a headache is a temporary experience. I wake up with a dog on top of me. She doesn't stay on top of me all day. She would if she could. It's very true. Versus stating that I have a headache, which becomes ownership. I now own my headache. And then the second difference is how information is shared. So it could be the tone of voice. You could be whining about having a headache. It could be simply reporting. Oh, by the way, I'm letting you know, don't yell because I have a headache. Or surprised. Wow, I never wake up with headaches. Wow. It could be an intention. The intention of why we're sharing. So it could be an information sharing. Again, letting you know. Or sympathy seeking. I feel like I'm not being noticed, so I have a headache, see me. Or solution seeking. I have a headache and it's time we go on vacation. So it's, there's the intention behind it. It could be a medical concern. How many days in a row have I woken up with a headache? Maybe I should start paying attention to this. And then the last one was if it becomes an all-day story. And on top of everything else, I have a headache. Have I mentioned that I have a headache? And at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Did I tell you that I woke up with a headache? And it's really all you've been talking about all day. So, I was really surprised the more I investigated this whole no complaints whatsoever. It's really a deep experience, this complaining thing. And I get as equally annoyed with my own kvetching as I get tired with some of the negative things I see and hear around me. I have a couple friends on Facebook that all they ever do, their posts are continually a kvetch about what's bad, what's wrong, what happened to them that didn't work. And it's like, oh my goodness. I tried this strategy. I just started liking their complaining just to see what would happen. I'm like, well, nobody else is responding, so like. Good job on that complaining. So I was noticing, and I made a little joke to myself. I'm like, oh, there are people out there who thrive on the wine, and it's not the kind you drink. And it's, However, this need to complain could also be misunderstood. Sometimes it might seem like the complaining to us about ourselves or to others, or us about others to each other, is more about processing. Sometimes it's just the need to get the information out. And it's an internal experience that's coming out, and so sometimes it gets muddied in the translation. However, we can always shift gears. It can be, man, this morning was such a mess. I overslept, I stubbed my toe, I forgot to let the dog out, and I lost my keys. Wow, I really need to turn my day around. That piece, that's what we're looking for. It's okay that all that other stuff happened, and it's okay to talk about it. That last piece of, man, I really need to pull it together, shift it around. Just yesterday, as part of my ongoing class with my seminary students, we've created something called companion circles, where once or twice a month, a small group of us get on a conference call and just connect with each other. It's this truly amazing experience. And we were looking at this, and one of my classmates has been going through just a hellacious time. Just bam, 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 one thing after the next. And as she was sharing it with us, there was not a single tone of victim in her voice. It was, this is happening, and then this happened. So then I made a choice, and then this happened, and then I had to choose something different, and then this, and it was reporting. And one of my other classmates commented that there's a process by Matthew Fox called the cosmic mass. And there's 4 roads you take during the cosmic mass, and one of them is called the via negativa, which is the exploration into the darkness. It's the dark road. It's that time when we go intentionally into our darkness to be able to then lift out of it. And he commented that what was remarkable about her share was that although she was walking the via negativa, she knew she was not alone. Something larger than us is walking that road with us all the time. And here's the kicker: if it wasn't walking with us, we wouldn't be here. So there's a way to be in that place, a way to be on that dark road, and to talk about it without becoming a victim of it, and without the woe is me piece. So Wayne Muller wrote a book called How Then Shall We Live? And he says this: it is vital and true and deeply required that we tell our story. We must trace the shape of it, speak of the place in our body where it lives, weep the tears of it, allow it to be seen and known. To know the story of how we came to be here, how we came to be this way. Yet, there inevitably comes a point when no single story is ever large enough to hold us. After we have told our story once, or twice, or 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, it ceases to be a practice of awakening, and it becomes a performance. It does not move us along the path of healing, and it does not open our eyes. In fact, it closes our eyes to anything that does not fit our story. Wow. This is the moment when complaining, ourselves doing it or hearing it from others, becomes exhausting. And I mean exhausting. Have you ever heard yourself complaining and think, what am I doing? Good God, who am I? I have so much to be grateful for. I'm missing out on my life. So I saw this: dear optimist, pessimist, and realist, while you guys were busy arguing about the glass of water, I drank it. Sincerely, the opportunist. There was a moment, of course, on Facebook when somebody was posting a complaint about how their laptop was being so slow that day, and someone in the thread underneath posted, "First world problem." And you know, I had 2 responses to that. The first one was absolutely true. There are people around our state, our country, and our world who are struggling to get water, shelter, heat, food, just trying to survive. And we all get that. We all feel that. However, is it fair to judge others or ourselves for just wanting to whine a minute about something that's happening? So let's look at this. In the past couple of weeks, we've witnessed a massive typhoon in the Philippines, devastating late-season tornadoes in Illinois, and more than normal harsh weather in Fairbanks, leaving some people without heat at 30 below. Am I grateful that I'm not in any one of those places? Oh, you bet. And did I still get testy with the people tailgating me on Friday in the ice? Yes, I did. I did. And did I hit my snooze button? Yes. Was I grumpy about getting up to let the dogs out? Yes. And did I endlessly rant about algebra? Yes. Yes. So even when there are horrifying things happening in the world, we are still limited to the experience of living our life every day. So we prioritize based on what we're experiencing, and we adjust accordingly. The suffering of others is never gone from our minds and hearts. Certainly not the people in this room. We feel it. We yearn to be there to help. And there are people who get on planes and go. There are people who send money. There are people who send food. There are people like our friend up in Fairbanks who said, "My house has heat and electricity, come over." I was so moved by that when I saw her post that. Please come to our home. Get warm. Charge your phone. And so I don't believe that any of us really walk through life untouched by other people's suffering. And we also continue to live in our sometimes small, self-submerged world, and we occasionally will complain. And we'll also be grateful. In philosophy class, we were exploring this concept that actually is part of the waking up talk, so I'll go deeper into it then. But just on the surface, it's this teaching of Jean-Paul Sartre about bad faith. And he talks about how it's choice versus lack of choice, that everything in our life is choice versus lack of choice, even when it doesn't look like it. And so we can feel obligated to get up, go to work, get some money, go grocery shopping, come home, cook, clean, whatever. We can feel obligated to do that, or we can see our lives filled with opportunity and adventure. Because although we know we're going to work, we don't know what's going to happen that day. We don't know who's going to show up or who we might affect. We don't know who we're going to bump into at the bus stop. We don't know who we're going to help at the grocery store. So in the midst of all those mundane, oh my God, I can't believe I have to do these things, there's adventure waiting for us. And so we can choose to get up. We can choose to go to work without ever knowing that the random good is always at hand. And we can be grateful that we have a home to keep clean, and that we have dogs to care for, and that we have laundry to do. And here's the kicker. We can choose to do, see, feel, and experience it differently than we did yesterday, or last week, or even 5 minutes ago. The only person who's going to forgive us is us. So we get to choose again and forgive ourselves. It's all about perspective, and this one I love. I've been asked over the years to name a book I'd bring to a desert island. Easy answer: build your own boat. It's all perspective. Dan Millman says, if you don't get what you want, you suffer. If you get what you don't want, you suffer. And even when you get exactly what you want, you still suffer because you can't hold on to it forever. This is an epic complaint. But clearly, we're getting at this idea that it's not unreasonable to complain. I'm not sure that it's possible actually for us to live in the world every day and never complain. I mean, I guess it's possible. I don't know. Because we're in the world, we're of the world, and we do that sort of transfer back and forth. Sometimes we're just in the world and not of it. Sometimes we're way of it. So I think it's more about the quality and quantity and substance and timing of complaints. So here's some examples. There's the tactless complaint. Griping to someone who rides the bus about how long your auto start takes to warm up. That was for you, Brother Don. There's the insensitive complaint. After I'm sitting eating cookies and I offer a cookie to a thin person who says, "Oh, I can't eat a cookie, they make me so fat." There's the competitive complaint. You think you've got it bad, and out pours the litany of garbage, of complaining. It's like, okay, you win, your life is terrible. All right then. And then there's the unconscious complaint. When I whined to my older sister about how I stubbed my big toe, when in fact my older sister is an amputee and only has one big toe. And when she stubs her big toe, she can't walk. She's in a wheelchair. So that was the unconscious. So, however, it's not to say that stubbing my toe didn't hurt. It did. And I have a right to complain about that. However, I can state it as a fact. I stubbed my toe. I can't even imagine how bad it must be when you stub your toe. As opposed to, I stubbed my toe, and I turn into 6-year-old me, whining and storytelling and turning my stub toe into an epic mini-series with CNN graphics. It just goes too far. We go too far. So the real big T truth here is that we can always find a reason to complain. And I saw this one. God gives us only what we can handle. Apparently God thinks I'm a badass. We can always find reasons to complain because life can be complicated. However, we can always also find reasons to be grateful. And I like to start with the basics. I have my sight. I have my hearing. I can sing. All my limbs work reasonably well. I'm not hungry. I'm not alone. And this is the one that seals the deal for me. I can use the bathroom by myself. Think about it just for a second. It represents independence and freedom. We can do these things. So the best way I have found for looking at moments when I want to complain is, again, shifting my perspective. It's like, okay, do I need to complain right now? Yes, I do. Okay, so complain, and I'm done. And now I shift my perspective. And I found these two great quotes, which I didn't want to just read. I wanted you to read them with me because I think they're really powerful. I'm going to attempt to say Epictetus as best I can. Epictetus said, "What ought one to say then as each hardship comes? I was practicing for this. I was training for this." Isn't that awesome? So empowering. And then Ralph Marston wrote, "The obstacles you encounter are not preventing you from reaching your dreams. They're merely blocking one particular path that you mistakenly assume is the only way to reach those dreams." So what if those moments that make us want to grr in traffic or the grocery store lines, or algebra, are actually pop quizzes? They're like life pop quizzes to see how well we've been studying. What if the delay in traffic is to avoid a crazy driver 2 intersections ahead? Or what if the grocery store line is a way for you to remember, oh, you know what, I really don't need the Oreos, and you could put them back? And what if algebra... Give me a minute. Right. What if algebra exists to show me how much I can appreciate the moments when I'm not doing algebra? A couple weeks ago, I had finished a philosophy test and a math quiz in the same day, and I had finished writing the talk for the Sunday service, and I had nothing expected of me for about 45 minutes. And Heather texted me and asked me what I was doing, and I said, "I'm reading fiction for fun." She was slightly stunned. I had forgotten about how much I loved reading. And so here I was reading. And it was one of those moments where I had absolutely no complaints whatsoever. It was so powerful. So an apocalyptimist, someone who knows it's all going to shit but still thinks it'll turn out okay. That is me. And the other quote, if life on earth is temporary, what makes you think your problems are permanent? I thought that was a really, really great statement. You know, we're here. Good Lord, let's enjoy ourselves. And, you know, and it's okay when those moments come. It's okay to be in those moments. And then let the shift happen, as it were. So I'm going to close the talk with a song. I'm just going to leave that up there because that's really fun. This is a song that came through me while we were living in Boise. And it's called Life is Good. Sometimes life can seem way too tough. The world's sort of big and cold. I can let myself feel so lost, believing there's so much wrong. It's too easy to get swept up in negative thinking. It takes courage to face the dark, switch the light on to see that life is good every day. Life is good no matter what I say. Don't dismiss what I have to share because it seems too naive. We have choices to make each day, and believe me, some days don't always flow so smooth. I stumble and whine and fuss, then I take a deep breath and I pause to remember the truth that life is good every day. Life is good no matter what I say. Life is good every day. Life is good no matter what they say. Every day, is a gift. Every moment we live, don't waste it thinking about how terrible everything is, how much we hurt each other. Please focus on what we can give. We all have so much to give. Just yesterday when I woke up, I noticed my back hurt, and I stopped and I thought about all that I had to be thankful for. I am loved, I am fed, I am warm, I am cared for. Spirit, guide me in ways to give back and to always be grateful. Life is good every day. Life is good no matter what they say. No matter what I read, no matter what I hear, no matter what I say, this I know, life is good. Especially when I can't see it, 'cause I know back of everything, life is good. Even when I don't know it, I know that God knows it. My life is good. So let's move into prayer. Taking that breath of life in this moment and acknowledging in that breath forgiveness. Forgiveness for ourselves for those moments when we forgot to be grateful. Forgiveness for ourselves when we heard others and slipped into judgment. And a moment of total immersion into gratitude. Knowing that even though there are places in this world that are crying out to us for compassion and prayer and help and concrete need, we know that back of every appearance there is something going on that we don't see, we don't know. It's that inner working of spirit, that ever unfolding experience of good that we can't always grasp. And it goes deeper than belief, and it goes deeper than faith, and it goes deeper than trust. It goes deeper than all of us. All of it is a complete yielding, a complete surrendering to say, I don't know what it is. I just know that it is. Holding in prayer the request I received this morning, knowing that divine unfolding is happening. Knowing that divine unfolding is happening and that Spirit is acting through doctors' hands to reveal perfect health and wholeness and to reveal perfect connection with the One. Connecting in with my sister in seminary, knowing that her life is so good, so sweet, and that she has moved from the via negativa into the light, and now she is standing strong. Holding in prayer any single person in this room who has brought with them and is giving to the stone right now what they don't want to carry anymore. Let it go. Let the story go. And open up for the possibility of the good flowing in. Holding myself in prayer as I move into this next 2 weeks of what the appearance is called of final exams, knowing that the divine wisdom of God is my mind. And embracing the fact that yes, it's okay to complain. And to measure that complaint with a double amount of gratitude for the ability to complain about whatever it is we're complaining about. For we are loved. We are seen. Each one of us cared for, held up by, and companioned with that great essence of life, Spirit itself, always with us. Always close. And so it is with gratitude that I say thank you, universe, for loving me as I am, for loving each of us just as we are, and for opening up that door to possibility to say, and then there's this for you. Yes. Yes. And more yes. So blessed, so grateful. I release these stones, knowing that the prayers have been heard and answered, and it is done. Ashe. flashing.